everyone, and welcome back. This month, February, marks the year anniversary of when I received my diagnosis of ALS, or what is known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And it is coming up on March, the 2-year mark of when I started having initial symptoms that led me to go to the doctor. So today what I'm going to do is just talk to you about some of the progression or some of the decline that I've had since my last video, and to give you an update on what I'm using as far as it goes with supplements, and to discuss my spiritual growth in this past year. So I'll start out with my physical status. So physically, as you can see, I am now in a wheelchair. That's due to my legs that have weakened significantly, so that it's no longer just the right leg, but the left leg also. I can still stand, but I can only walk, I would say, approximately 10 feet. And when I do, I use my walker, and it's not leg strength that I'm using, it's mainly my upper body strength. While I'm holding on to the walker, I kind of drag my legs behind me. So that's why I am now in the power wheelchair, but this is just temporary until, my legs are back up and functioning. And so right now my arms are weakening also. So they are slightly weaker than they were a while ago. I can tell by when I hold certain objects, something that wasn't heavy to me before and now feels heavy. So I can tell that they are weakening my arm strength. And as far as it goes with my core, so my abdomen and my back, so that has weakened. So I find it difficult to sit straight up for extended periods of time. So that's weakened some. And another thing that's new is with my respiratory system. So I noticed that when I try to cough, I can't produce a strong cough. So it's pretty much hard for me to bring up like a strong cough, or to even, like if I get choked on something and start coughing, it's hard to force it out. So that is about the only thing that has changed with me physically since, I would say, a couple of months back when I did my other video. But overall, in that 2-year time frame, or if you want to go by the years since I was diagnosed, that is where I am as far as it goes with my physical capabilities and my physical status. So I think that's pretty good, And as far as it goes with supplements, I am no longer using the Deanna's protocol. I'm not using that one because I feel that it didn't really significantly change anything. And so with the cost of that, I just decided not to continue to use that, seeing that it wasn't making any significant difference. So I do continue to take my vitamins and my antioxidants. I'm still on my diet, plant-based diet, vegetarian diet, so I'm still doing that. I have had a little more weight loss, but it's not as significant as it was before, so that's starting to stabilize. So spiritually, I did a video when I initially was diagnosed and kind of talked about my feelings then, and how I was in despair, had a lot of fear, tormented by the doctors telling me that I would become paralyzed, wouldn't be able to speak, wouldn't be able to breathe, and which would lead to death. So with that, being informed with that, with the doctors informing me of that, it caused me to become overwhelmed and, like I said, just tormented by the relentless twitching and the thought process of, how am I going to deal with this, and how is this going to progress? So that was a year ago, and so that's basically what I had to deal with a lot. And during this time, I had time to read the Word of God, study His Word, and get stronger in Him, grow in Him, so that I'm no longer at that state of despair, fearful of the disease process, and just trusting and believing and knowing that He is with me through this process. And so I want to share with you 3 scriptures today that kind of discuss how I got over that fear process. And the first one can be found in 1 John 4:18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear involves torment, but he who fears has not been made perfect in love. Then 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 states, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And finally, Isaiah 41:10 says, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. So, right there, those scriptures have done a lot to help me overcome this whole process of fear and being fearful of this process. And so I just want to share with you a story that happened a couple of months back, or maybe 5 months more back, when one night I was getting ready to go to sleep, or I was actually in bed trying to sleep. And during this whole year, different times, I often have what I would call like electrical storm in my body. And so what that is the doctors call it the fasciculations, which are the twitching that my muscles experience. And so what it does is I get these real rapid twitches or fasciculations throughout one muscle group, or it could be a couple of muscle groups. And so what I could compare it to visually is like, I would say, a thunderstorm, when you see the lightning flashing in the sky and you see like rapid flashes of lightning. And that's kind of what I think it feels like in my body, is like rapid. And so one night I was lying down trying to sleep, and this was happening from the base of my head all the way down my back. And it was very annoying, but also worrisome to me, because the doctors say when you do have those fasciculations, that is the nerves trying to communicate with the muscle, and it's usually signifying that something is dying, like a muscle is dying. So I was lying there and it was bothering me. I couldn't get much rest. And so I just, said, Lord, how can I sleep through this? And He answered me by making my mind go towards His story in the Bible, the story in the Bible where Him and His disciples were in the boat, and it was a storm out, and He was in the innermost part of the boat, and He was asleep, sound asleep, through all of the storm that was raging outside. And His disciples came to Him and said, how can you sleep during this storm? And Jesus got up and He spoke to the storm, and He said, peace, be still. And so with that, He gave me a sense of peace right then when I thought on that story, because I got on like, oh Lord, you're telling me just to rest in you, because you are the master of the storm. You are in charge of it. You control it. And so I don't have to worry about anything as long as I stay in Him and find peace in Him. And so at that point is when I relaxed and have a sense of peace ever since then. And so I just wanted to encourage anyone today who's going through any storm in their life, whether it be financially or at work or with your children, whatever the storm may be in your life, that you just rest in God, because He will give you peace to go through that storm, as long as you trust in Him and believe in Him. So just remember that He is with you, and that's what I have learned to know. Remember that He is with me throughout this whole process so that I don't have to fear. I have nothing to fear because He is with me. So I just want to say, remember to share this video, and look forward to making another one and discussing my status physically and my growth spiritually with you. So remember to share, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.